In this episode, I take on the Str8sixfan challenge. The challenge I didn't even come up with. Welcome to the channel. My name is Grant Tommy. This is Str8sixfan, where I like to focus on budget-minded, relatable, creative builds, a little something I like to call offbeat hot rodding. And today, I am tasked with fabricating, building my own tool as part of the Str8sixfan challenge. You see, Idle Garage, one of the channels that I follow and am good buds with, I recently sent him one of my stickers, and he came up with this idea. Instead of just doing a traditional shout out, he came up with the Str8sixfan challenge. And so if you go to his last video, I'll leave a card up over in this area for you to see the original Str8sixfan challenge video. He made his own hose clamp tool, kind of copying off of this infomercial he had been seeing all these different Sundays. So check out not only his video, but his channel. But today, it's now my turn to take that challenge and create a tool of my own. So let me show you what I think I'm gonna do. So here is my pile of parts. I've got a bunch of leftover 1x1 metal square tubing from Hot Rod, or the Rat Rod radio flyer frame. I had always intended turning this into a stool of sorts, like that I could sit at my welding table with. But obviously I've never done that, so now that I've been Str8sixfan challenged, I'm going to turn this into, at least I think, wood hands, like the equivalent of a wood hand screw clamp, but out of metal. So I've got some 1/2" nuts, 1/2" all thread, and 1x1 square tubing. Now the only thing that's going to be different between my version of the clamp and the wood hand screw clamp is they usually build in like a swivel function so that you can taper the two sides from each other. I'm hopeful, this may end up being a failure because I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm hopeful that the way I make it, it will still work. It's going to have to be straight parallel like that all the time. But that might make it fail, I don't know. But there's only one way to find out, so let's get started. I was threading on 2 nuts at the beginning. The reason we do that first is because let's remember that a screw, or in this case a nut and bolt, is a simple machine. So we can use the mechanical advantage of how this wants to spin off to clean up the threads that we goobered up from cutting. You can't necessarily do it in the reverse. It's hard to get started. If I wanted to try to put a nut on this cut end now, there we go, make sure I'm in frame, it would be difficult. So anyway, again, you always want to thread on a bolt ahead of time, because again, this will sort of, in a way, and it naturally clean up how the thread terminates when you back it off. With the all thread cut down now to where we want it, it's time to think about how long we want to make the clamp ends. Now, if you've ever worked with a hand screw clamp, you know, so like the way it works best is if you're sort of opposing the screws, and so you want at least a decent amount of distance, I think, between the two. I'm trying to think what feels about right. I mean, something like right about there. But then you also want a decent amount of leftover material to clamp for your clamping bit. So just kind of got to figure out what feels about right. I'm thinking something around here. Let's see, the throw now is pretty close to, it's like 4 3/4, so we'll go 5 inches, and then I don't know, it feels like it maybe wants to go another 5 inches past that, so just call that 6. Let's just go a foot. I think we're gonna cut this down to a foot. That's what we'll do. And call that good. The holes drilled out now, we're going to basically end up, well, here's what I talked about. This is the why you need to, I'll have to back this guy all the way off to clean up the threads on this end, probably same on this, but we're going to weld these bolts on either side of the square tube, like so, and then I'm hoping that it's going to work exactly the way I'm thinking, and we should be able to just oppose ourselves. It looks like there's plenty of all thread and maybe more length than what I really need, but I knew I could always shorten this, but before we get to welding, because these are zinc coated and the all thread probably as well, I bought some muriatic acid. Well, I guess I don't have to necessarily touch the all thread right now, but to remove the zinc coating, because like galvanization for sure, which is a zinc coating, but I don't know. I'm not smart enough to tell you the exact difference between the zinc coating and galvanized stuff, but I do know that it's sort of like the square is a rectangle, the rectangle isn't a square. I know for sure galvanization involves zinc in it, but I don't know if the zinc coating is the exact same as galvanization. But anyway, lots of muriatic acid to remove the coating, so we will dip these in that, and then clean this up really well, and I will then attempt to TIG weld these guys to the square tubing. Okay, so real quickly with this muriatic acid, a little public service announcement. I'm not a professional here, but the official PSA is going to be read the labels very carefully. This is very toxic stuff. This is stuff you don't want on your skin, you don't want in your eyes. So read the directions as well. You're supposed to dilute it in water. You're supposed to pour this into water, not water into this. So things like that. Make sure you read that very carefully. And the reason we're using this to remove the zinc coating is because if I was to weld through the zinc coating, the off gases that come off of that are actually fatal. So anyway, this is something I'm probably gonna double glove it. Probably gonna use these guys here, some latex gloves first, and then my rubber gloves on top of that. I'm gonna go grab my dust mask. Well, that's not like a super good ventilator. It's better than nothing. And then of course the safety glasses. So that was the first time I've ever used muriatic acid, and it does. So you can see it. It took the coating off. Let me get it closer to the lens here so you guys can see. In the meantime, while I was waiting for bolts 3 and 4 to go, I went ahead and hit the square tube with the flap disc, both sides, or both. Yeah, both sides. But anyway, here is, you can kind of see it's got a dull sheen to it, so it's just the raw steel now. So anyway, we will get to TIG welding this, which is great because this is going to be the first time I get to use an electrode I sharpened with my Eastwood tungsten sharpener. So let me get the TIG machine hooked up, and let's weld these guys on. Okay, so because of the heat of TIG welding those nuts, luckily I had two other nuts laying around the house. This all thread actually came from my, I made kind of ladder racks, if you will, for my old purple Ford Ranger. If you've been watching for forever, you might remember that. That was like from my early days. But anyway, I could basically feed the all thread in through, and then it would get hung up because, like, you know, this would expanded from TIG welding. So I've double nutted it here so I can feed this through and get it into both sides. So that's working pretty good. Okay, so does it work? The answer is no, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Does that make me mad though? No, not entirely. It was a good excuse to get out and practice some TIG welding, which, you know, I had some successes, some not so much successes on the beads. Is it because I don't have the swivel in here that it doesn't work? Maybe. I'm actually thinking that what you really need is opposing threads, like a right hand and a left hand thread. I think that's what I'm missing here. Oh, had a little bit of some success there. So, you know, it was just a friendly challenge by, once again, Idle Garage, and I'll leave an info card up over there for his channel. Another thing was I was trying to make a tool out of whatever I had laying around. The only thing I went out and bought were these nuts and the muriatic acid, but it's good to have that muriatic acid on hand for the next piece of galvanized metal that I may need to weld. So, you know, all is not lost. And, you know, as I'm getting so close to 1,000 subscribers, I'm really close on my 4,000 watch hours as well. So I've been in the mode of trying to pump out 2 videos a week here, and I think that's going to last at least till the first Tuesday in March or April, which you know, first Tuesdays of the month I do mail calls, and I've got a stack of mail calls to do. So so there's that. So all is not lost. So Pete, thanks for the challenge. If you want to partake in the Str8sixfan challenge, just go out to your garage and make whatever tool you want out of whatever you have and call it the Str8sixfan challenge and make a video about it. But as you may notice, it is dark out. I ran out of time yesterday on Sunday to get this all recorded, so it is Monday night. But reminder, if you want a Str8sixfan Pistons tee, promise they don't ship this wrinkled, but there's a link in the description below to my Spreadshirt store. Again, you guys know how much I hate making videos longer than like 11-12 minutes. Sorry, I did it again. But that'll do it for this episode. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever. I don't care which one you do, whichever one you're most comfortable with, as long as you do it. And then again, Thursday nights, Car Guy and Six Fan show. This particular week, it's over on Car Guy's channel. That would be Old Car Auto Guy. And we'll do that info card thing one more time. So if you haven't already subscribed to his channel, please do. That way you will always know exactly where the show's at from week to week. That'll do it for this episode. Until next time, peace out.